around one and all as we celebrate the magic of women in cinema at our Film Coven. We're your hosts, Kelli Mehan
and Melissa Woody, and today we're going to be talking about the one, the only, Michelle Yeoh.
GL. GL. GL 法國 Guy Laroche 設計名標。
What was your introduction to Michelle Yeoh? What was your first Michelle Yeoh movie?
I was not prepared for this question at all. Just before we hit record, I was like, what was the first thing I saw Michelle Yeoh in? Because it is one of those ones where I know I didn't watch Crouchingtigerhiddendragon when it came out, because that was huge. That was so big. That was parodied in movies. That was on the red carpet everywhere. So I reckon that's where I've seen it, probably like when that was going through awards season and around that. And she's just so stunning. So I think I remember seeing her in magazines before I even saw anything, because I only saw Crouching Tiger for the first time a few years ago, and this was my second watch through. So I know Michelle Yeoh as a presence more than I've seen her in film. So this is just, I've loved this. So definitely Everything Everywhere All at Once a few years ago was, forgot how great she is. Is she Crazy Rich Asians? Is she the mum?
Yes.
That would be the other one that I reckon I've really seen her recently. Melissa, where were you introduced to Michelle Yeoh?
Very similarly, like she was somebody I had heard the name through the years, but I hadn't seen really any of her films until Crazy Rich Asians. That was my first film to her. So I was way late to the game on Michelle Yeoh. I think a lot of like people around our age probably got introduced to her with the James Bond movie Tomorrow Never Dies, but I still haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But I do want to see it at some point because she's in it. Like that's what intrigues me, because the James Bond franchise, it's not really my franchise, but I'm like so into Michelle Yeoh and like exploring her filmography more. So eventually I will get to it, but I know that that's what really kind of brought her over to the US films. Kind of prior to that, she was exclusively more in Hong Kong cinema. I was really excited to tell you about a movie I saw. I believe it was about 2 years ago, I think, or maybe it was last year, but the Criterion Collection did a Michelle Yeoh kick-ass kind of collection, and my plan was to watch all of them, which I didn't, but I did watch this one, The Theheroictrio. Kelli, I'm dying to know, what did you think of The Theheroictrio?
It's not just what I think, it's what I haven't stopped thinking about for about a week now since I've watched it. First of all, an hour, 25 minutes. Love it. Definitely a Kelli movie. And you said to me, like, Kelli, if you can try and squeeze this one in, because I think it's a Kelli movie. And god damn, was it a Kelli movie. It's on SBS in Australia, so I'm like, Michael, you need to watch this. And I'm like, Alan, you need to watch this. Like, it was just such a fun time. These three leads, oh my goodness, some of the most stunning ladies you're going to see on film. And they are just, this gave me what superhero movies of the 90s were, mixed with that sort of Asian cinema martial arts influence. So it was just this fantastic mash between the two. I can tell I'm going to go back to this one, like when I just need something to throw on and I want to have a good time, because it reminded me very much of when we watched House, in the sense that this is so over the top, but I'm not laughing at it. I'm just enjoying myself for what it is. And yeah, it's a great choice, Melissa. So you got introduced to it through Criterion. What was your first thoughts on it?
Yeah, I was watching it and I was just like, this is hilarious. Like I felt like my first time watch, I was just laughing. I was not expecting it to be so like lighthearted and fun. And I think it says a lot about a movie that has to do with stealing babies and killing babies. Then it's still fun.
When that man comes out with the giant scissors and I'm going to chop babies, I was like, what is going on here?
It's such a fun movie, you know, it's not taking itself so seriously. And like, I don't know, I'm the type of person that isn't really gravitating towards like comic book movies in general. Like that's not really my jam, but like this style, it very much gives me a comic book feel to it. But this is my style of like a comic book movie that I would want to watch because it's just such a fun time. The effects are a great time. Like there's so many different types of effects as well. Like there's explosions and there's like those like close-up shots of like the bullet and the things that they're throwing and like
yes. When they like split the bullets and stuff. Okay, can I talk about my absolute most favorite moment? And when
please,
because I'm enjoying it, but I am all the way balls deep in this movie when that bitch sits on a can, lights a flare, and launches herself. I'm like, sold. There's nothing else that this movie can do to sell me even more until the motorcycle comes through. Sorry, you knew I was going to like that bit.
Yeah. No, I knew you would love the character of the thief catcher by Maggie Chung, which I love her, just so we're clear. Like, she's amazing in Hero. She's amazing in The Mood for Love. That's, like, one of my all-time favorite movies. So, like, going back and seeing her in something like this, like, early in her career was, like, so fun to see, because she kind of has, like, this cyberpunk vibe to her with, like, those big glasses and, like, the motorcycle. That character is a lot of fun.
I'm watching a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine lately, so definitely like some aspects of Rosa there with like the leather and the motorcycle and all that. But just she gives major little sister energy, and just the dynamics between all three of the leads is so fantastic. So when I'm watching it, I'm like, is Michelle Yeoh the bad guy? Did Melissa give me a movie where Michelle Yeoh's the bad guy? It caught me off guard because she just gives such hero energy in everything. And I think that's what I really like about Michelle Yeoh in general. She just has grace and she has poise. We talked about that when we did League of Our Own with Gina Davis and Dottie, and I get very similar in their screen presence, is that they're not really doing a lot, but it's enough and it hooks you in. And she in this all red, and I know that like in Chinese culture, like the red is luck or is like good positive energies and things like that. So to see her in this all red look, the hairography in this movie, Melissa, I love this so much because these are just all the times the maybe she's born with it, maybe it's Maybelline, like hair, makeup ad, L'Oreal commercial that Michelle Yeoh is in sometimes. Who is the Wonder Woman lady?
Her name is Anita Mui. I'm the least familiar with her. I did some research on her though, and she's a very accomplished actress in Hong Kong, but she's actually also a singer. She's been coined the term of the Madonna of the East. And I was like, okay, so I kind of want to explore her music now. I had no idea.
That's amazing. Right. Well, she had my most favorite hairstyle of the 90s. It gave me very Sailor Moon. It's this like, it's this bob, but it sits out a little bit. And she was just so stunningly beautiful. She was like arrestingly beautiful. It was, anytime she was on screen, I'm like, I love this. It's that peak 90s, still taking a bit from the 80s with a yuppie sort of button-down prim fashion, but just that little bit more relaxed. And I thought she was chef's kiss throughout the whole movie as well. And that's a hard character to play because the little sister's very comic relief, Michelle Yeoh is very stone cold serious, and she's got to sit in that middle ground there. And so that's what I mean with the dynamics. I thought everyone just nailed it.
I really liked seeing Michelle Yeoh in this more villain role turned hero journey arc. You talked about how Michelle Yeoh has a lot of poise and like grace to her. And something I've learned through like deep diving into Michelle Yeoh is she actually has a background in ballet. Like she had career aspirations to be a ballerina, but she had a spinal injury, which kind of led her to this acting career of hers. It did change her path in life of like ballerina to now, action star actress. So, and I think a lot of those skills translated really well to martial arts and fight choreography and that type of thing, and with that background.
100%. You know how to pick up moves. You know your lines then, like that makes a lot of sense. And you just know how to stand and just move, be more in tune with your body. So absolutely, that makes so much sense when you say that.
And like me knowing that knowledge, watching these movies this time around, I really saw it. Okay, like that makes so much sense of why she's so like skilled and like has ease to all of this. Yeah, she knows her body well, and she knows how to move it.
So she has no formal martial arts training, isn't that correct? Because when I watched her Oscars speech, it came over the thing. It's like Michelle Yeoh, even though being an action star, has no formal martial arts training.
And despite her illustrious career in action films, has no formal training in martial arts.
I'm like, that's a weird thing to put over the PA, like when you're accepting your Oscars, but it's just, I guess they're trying to say how amazing she is with no formal training.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's correct. I'll fact check myself and fact check us in post, but I'm pretty sure that is correct.
One other thing I really loved, as we sort of said, it's like so much fun and enjoyable. Just all the things it was reminding me of. So it gave me Mortal Kombat when they're going down into the sewer and there's the master there. I'm like, gives me very Buffy. Like I've just started watching that. So just even, I love just the comic book sci-fi, like all those little genre things that were a part of it. And I had a blast. Super recommend to anyone. Great girl power. Oh, that was the other thing. Did not realize how much of a feminist theme is sort of throughout it, because it's not a surprise, or it's intentional that stealing babies and that maternal instinct and that it's women chasing other women down. I just thought that was a really nice through line. And I loved the husband character and the scientist character. Like it's not, oh, what are you doing? It's like, I support you. I found out you're Wonder Woman when you looked at me, and I love you. I thought that it was really a good touch throughout the film. It was well handled.
I completely agree. And yeah, this movie very much taps into like my inner child. If I saw this movie when I was like 12 or 13, I'd be absolutely obsessed with it. But I'm still obsessed with it being, a 32-year-old woman. But like there's just something about it that's just, I love the over the top kind of unhinged energy it has, but it does still maintain being like feminine through all these like fun, fierce fight scenes, and I love all the girls in it. And also, I haven't seen this time period of Michelle Yeoh movies beyond this. During this time, from like my research, did a lot of like girl power team up style movies. Cool. So I'm excited to like look at or watch more of these, because that was something that she has always been really like passionate about, is like, I want to maintain my femininity, but I will also want to be a badass. And
yes,
she
nails
girl.
it.
Transitioning from Hong Kong cinema, being this huge action star that she was, came Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. This movie was a huge career defining role for Michelle Yeoh, and just I think just in general with movies, like this was, I almost feel like it's similar to like Parasite that came out a few years ago. It's something that's coming over from the East to the West. It had widespread acclaim, and like people really tuned into this one. It wasn't just a great movie that is like a hidden gem to cinephiles. Like this is one that was really well known and like celebrated. I'm struggling with my words, so I'm going to pass it to you.
You couldn't be around in 2000, 2001 and not hear about this movie. As I said earlier, this was a mainstream breakthrough hit, worldwide, global success. As you said, I love that Parasite analogy. It's very similar, where this is coming from China and bringing that culture worldwide, and definitely at a time where I think subtitles in films, as you sort of said, is much more of a cinemaphile thing. So for this to go so big, it's probably one of the first big foreign movies I can think of in my lifetime, in my experience of hearing about, played on SBS and iWorld Movies all the time. Did not think it would be for me, because generally I'm not the biggest, like growing up, I wasn't the biggest action fan, wouldn't seek it out, but if someone was watching it, if dad was watching it, might watch, or if friends at a sleepover heard it was good, would watch, but not the ones like I would always go for comedies, rom-coms, animation, all that sort of thing. So did not watch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon until 5 or so years ago. Just had a stockpile of movies and would go through them. Like I was a bit of a tough time in life and was up all night watching movies, would like binge 5 a night and things like that. And this was just one of those, I was like, I've always heard about it, but never would have no idea what it actually is. So when I watched it, I was so surprised how much I really enjoyed it. And I'm just such a big believer in a lot of the times you consume movies and media at the time that you're ready to receive it. And that was definitely the time I was ready to receive it. I was a bit older and could appreciate the culture. I could appreciate the quieter moments and just really take in the martial arts for what it was. I think I had the big misconception it was going to be more Bruce Lee, Enter the Dragon. You know, like movies of the 70s, is that more on the nose style, and that's what I thought it was going to be. But when I saw these people flying about, there's something about it being in this ancient culture and being so realistic that when that's happening, I'm not really batting an eye, where we've just talked Theheroictrio, where it's very bombastic and very over the top. And this is those same sort of stunts, but done in a much more grounded way. And it just makes sense. It gave me very Naruto, like this is people's inner chi, like that is how you achieve those phenomenal stunts. And that it's that mystical energy being imbued throughout the film. And rewatching it this time, I loved it just as much. I was thinking I wouldn't go back to it, and I'm just so glad I did, and I reckon I'm going to go back to it again. Melissa, you were in the same boat as me. We missed this one, but how did you come to it?
I was getting off of the high of Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I, again, was like seeking out Michelle Yeoh's filmography, and I was like, okay, this is a huge blind spot for me where, yeah, I did miss it. I do remember, and I was fairly young in 2000, but like I do remember the buzz of it all. I didn't see it at that time, and I probably, again, very similar to you, wouldn't have probably appreciated it as much, just being that age. But yeah, no, I saw it 2 years ago, so it was like a few months after Everything Everywhere All at Once, where I was just like, okay, I want some more Michelle Yeoh. Let's see what this is all about. And I was blown away. I really went into it fairly blind. Like I really didn't know much of anything about it, just that it was very like well praised and had good reviews. And I have to fact check the awards of it all. I don't remember what it did or didn't get nominated for, but like there was just a lot of buzz about it. So I think this movie, it's poetry in motion. Like it's just gorgeous. Like the fight choreography is great. I love the dramatic aspects of the movie. I love the story. It feels very timeless. It feels like we're like hearing this ancient legend type of thing. And yeah, even though, you know, they're using wire work and they're flying around, it feels what is expected in this story and universe. Like it doesn't feel cheesy or whatever, at least in my opinion. Like it just adds to the story. Yeah, like you said, the mysticism of it all. I love this movie. And rewatching it this time, I felt way more emotional. I actually cried a few different times. I was not expecting that. Just to kind of highlight and speak to Michelle Yeoh, I think the scene that's my favorite with her specifically is between her and Chow Yun-fat when he's professing his love to her. And I just feel like she does so much with her face. I feel like the character she plays is so repressed, and you can see the happiness in like a moment, and then just a moment later you can see like the fear and like the shame of it all. And like, so I feel like Michelle Yeoh, this is a more like understated role of hers, but like I think she is a powerhouse in it.
That scene I thought was absolutely beautiful, and you're right. Like it's as we sort of said, like with the Gina Davis comparison, like it's an understated performance. We've just come off talking about Theheroictrio, where it's very over the top and very in your face. And this one, what I love about her is that she's so powerful without it needing to be overt. Like, and it's a lot of like, I've heard you with this and I've heard you with that. And then when she actually, I think I've got two favorite scenes. So the first, what I didn't realize as well, and so great for this project that we're doing, is how strong of a feminist theme is really throughout the movie. And I loved it. I thought it was amazing without being preachy. So I loved the moment where they're sort of meeting, I think, for the second time, and they're talking about, so we can be sisters now. Because that's something that's really strong to me without having any siblings. When people in movies, fan family is always a really big quality to me. So finding your sisters in your friends and just bonding with other people, I thought that was a great moment. And then when they're fighting, this fight is freaking amazing. I would argue this is one of the best fights in film. Just when they are taking each other on, and she's got the green dragon, dream dynasty. It's green sword.
Great Destiny.
Thank you. It started with a D. The Great Destiny Sword, and Michelle Yeoh uses all these different weapons, and they are just at it the whole time because this movie has everything. It has action, it has comedy, it has a love story, it has sex scenes, it has just anything you could want. So the fact that in this fight scene that they're just going at it the whole time, and then they have these comedic beats, you know, when she comes at her with like the big sword and like she can't lift it up, and just I loved it. And what I'm really enjoying about this movie is it's a lot of show don't tell. I didn't think there was a lot of dialogue. Maybe I was just mistaken, but it just seemed like there was either like a lot of action and we're seeing things play out, or we're seeing those quieter, softer moments where it's just that little bit of dialogue and what they're saying is so important. So, those were the two standouts for me.
Those were also standouts for me this time around, especially just like focusing on Michelle Yeoh. Again, it's very interesting how the viewing experience might be different, like focusing on something specific. Because again, last time when I first watched it, I was just kind of blown away. I was just like, wow, like this is a great movie. And this time around, I felt way more emotional about it all. Because I think Michelle Yeoh's character is just incredibly tragic, because it's like the man she loves like professes her love, and then he dies, and like it's just like the what if, and they never get to be together type of thing. It's just like, it was like really pulling at my heartstrings this time around. And then I love the Jang-Z character of Jen. Like I brought her up obviously in our panel, and like I think this time around, she was definitely giving little sister energy of like, gosh, she's such a little spoiled brat, but like I love kind of how bratty she is, even though it's like, oh, sorry, I'm just so good at this, like kind of thing. Like such a natural at the craft of it all. No, and I really liked the dynamic between her and Michelle Yeoh, because even though Jang Z's characters may be more gifted naturally, let's say, I feel like Michelle Yeoh's character is still wiser though. Like I thought it was funny, like the scenes where she's like, how did you know, like in regards to like knowing that she was the thief and stuff, because there's just such a wiseness, I feel like, to Michelle Yeoh's character in this movie, and she very much like is an equal to Chow Yun-fat. Like they feel like equals to each other, and I think that's probably why there's a love there. But this movie, amazing.
How she wiseness is just the way, like, because Jen is this firecracker whenever she's on screen, like it is explosive, and she is fucking shit up and she is making shit happen, and it's so great. But it's that foil to Michelle Yeoh, just seeing the way she, like when she tips that cup off and she catches it, it's like, I'm on to you. Like I just loved that back and forth dynamic they had, the two, and having to hunt her down. And just even the fact, as I sort of mentioned with the feminist theme, is that the Jade Fox character sort of coming in and causing all this controversy. And even just people saying like she's a woman and she gets to make her own choice. So like lucky for her to be on that, because I felt like that was a huge undercurrent through all the movie, is women making their own life choices and their own paths. So I love that you bring up this tragic figure of Michelle Yeoh's character, because I feel like that's generally very a male stereotype. It's almost in that sort of samurai warrior, like what do you have to sacrifice to be a warrior position. And they talk about that Michelle Yeoh's character is one of the only sort of real renowned female warriors. So I found all that really interesting. And obviously Jen is just someone who wants to go her own way in her own path, and that is just a huge part of it. When she is in the hotel, I don't know what, the inn, and like all the men are just coming at her and she is just breaking down all these steps, firing off one-liners. So Charlie's Angels would have come out 2000. I can't say that it's directly influenced because they would have already been making it, but I see a lot of parallels between what was happening at the time, and it, like that was the not knockoff version, but like I can see a lot of Dylan, the Drew Barrymore character, in that character of those fight scenes of firing off those one-liners and all that.
A fun fact that, or not fun, but fact that I discovered regarding Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is Michelle Yeoh tore her ACL
nasty.
Before or like during filming, and like came back and still finished, and that's like a huge injury. So I just thought that was like pretty incredible, because like you can't notice like in the movie, obviously the movie magic of it all, because I think they had to like kind of tweak a few things to kind of assist with that. But I was just like, man, that's badass. Moving on to our last film that we're talking about tonight is Everything Everywhere All at Once, which you can't see, but I'm going to just do that because the damn camera, you can't see my shirt, my fun shirts that I have on most of the time. But no, this movie was my favorite of 2022.
Emotional damage.
I loved my theater experience. Like I just remember feeling like this movie is special, and I didn't think anything of it in regards to like award season. Like it's like I watched it, and I was just like, this movie, there's something about it, and it's really like touching a chord within me because we just kind of talked about Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon having so many genres and like so many things with it. This movie as well, like it hits on so many different genres and themes of it all. I'm going to stop because I feel like I'll just ramble on a little bit more. So Kelli, tell me about your experience with Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I've only watched it the once. I watched it last year when it won the Academy Award, but it's definitely one. It's so hard not to say it's everywhere or it's got everything in it, but like it does. And it was, and it is. Yes, my theatre experiences have been few and far between the last couple of years. So this is one that I've caught when it hit streaming. Alan and I, Saturday night, it's like, yeah, we're hearing a lot about this movie and it's just one. And I'm really keen to sort of know what all the buzz is about. And we got to be there for the big things, you know, for the big cultural moments. I want to be a part of it, even if it's a little bit late. So we watched it. This was amazing. It's hard. It lived up to the hype, which is good. Because I think, especially around award season nowadays and sort of when you start being part of film communities and it's fun, it's hard not to take in other people's opinions or if you hear people really love it and you don't love it, that's always a bit tricky as well. So sometimes it is hard to distance ourselves and be able to go in with a fresh take and a fresh perspective. But it was just Saturday night sitting on the couch and here we go. And my most thoughts that I remember is just Alan sitting on the couch and going, is that a butt plug? So that's my memory of it. I really enjoyed it. I think the story beats it hits are so important. Love seeing representation, love seeing other people's culture be on the screen, love seeing this intergenerational trauma that we're starting to really see come to the head, because I think even like Disney's really hitting on it, because that's the majority of my film experience lately. But that seems to be, we're seeing a lot of these stories come forth in the late 2010s to the early 2020s. And I think it's just such a cool movement that we're seeing. And Michelle Yeoh is just amazing in it, and Stephanie Hsu as well. Like Jobu Tupaki, what an instant iconic villain. So love this one. Melissa, why was this your favorite film of 2022?
Not to like what you were saying, just it's everything everywhere all like I mean, that's kind of why. No, I think it was my favorite because one, I loved my theater experience, and then I watched it again at home with Jeff because I was like, okay, you need to watch this movie. Like, it's now getting a lot of buzz, and it's my favorite movie of the year, so you should watch it. And he enjoyed it. It's a little too wacky for his taste, which I totally understand, and I think that's probably why I love it. I think ultimately the biggest takeaway from it is like not taking yourself so seriously in life. I think that's why there's a lot of the humor and like the goofiness of it all throughout really hits for me. But then also just like also not giving up on life and like really going out there and accomplishing your dreams and whatever that might look like. But there's just so many other things too. The movie's almost very overwhelming in the sense of like visuals and themes. But I love it. It almost has like a psychedelic vibe to it from that perspective. Do you ever watch the GQ like breakdown of people's careers on YouTube?
No.
Okay. Well, I wanted to show you if you want to see that really quick.
Please.
I was just going to show you the last few seconds of it because I feel like it really just shows how important this role was to Michelle Yeoh. I found this clip kind of incredible, so I really wanted to show you.
So when I met them, I didn't tell them. Because when I read the script, I thought, this is something, oh dear. No, this is something I've been waiting for a long time. That's going to give me the opportunity to show my fans, my family, my audience, what I'm capable of. To be funny, to be real, to be sad. Finally, somebody understood that I can do all these things.
Oh, God.
Wow. She's amazing. I love just her vulnerability, and we saw it as well in her Oscars acceptance speech. I just think and she's so succinct with her words and message, which I just loved when she was like, this is for all the boys and girls out there that look like me, that this can happen.
For all the little boys and girls who look like me watching tonight, this is a beacon of hope and possibilities. This is proof that dreams dream big and dreams do come true.
So she not only touches on the race issue and representation issue, and then she says, ladies, never give up. You're never too old. You're never past your prime. And she touches on like the age issues in Hollywood as well. So I'm like,
and ladies, don't let anybody tell you you are ever past your prime. Never give up.
To tackle both of those things, you can just tell how important it is for her and how much of a big step forward this is. And her acceptance speech, and that is just beautiful. Like her heart really comes through. And it's lovely to see. And you see it in the character of Evelyn as well, of just this mum that wants to connect with her daughter. And it's just such a lovely maternal bond that she's sharing with her, and how to recreate. And I love that you say about the not taking yourself too seriously, because I think that's one of the best scenes is the little eyeball on there. I was going to ask you, do you have a favorite Evelyn, or one that really stands out? Because they do get wacky. So I can't stand hot dog fingers, and that's Alan's most favorite one, and I can't deal with it. But just
I love the hot dog.
Because you Lynch people, you people that love David Lynch, and just that is up your alley, and I can't.
I love the hot dog universe just because, one, I mean, it's just so ridiculous to have hot dogs for fingers, but like, there's something about it that's so sweet. And she's also kind of like low-key like seducing Jamie Lee's character. And I love this movie for Michelle Yeoh because we really do get to see so many different facets of what she can bring to the table. And I love that one's like, it's this kooky seduction, like lesbian love story with hot dog fingers. Like, it's beautiful. No, I really do like the universe where she's like I don't know if it's an opera singer, but like a singer. And she has like the beautiful, like cultural dress and like headpiece. Like I really like that. And then I this is more for Wayman's character, but I do like her character as well. It's like the Wong Kar-wai universe. That was like the what if movie star universe, just because I'm a huge Wong Kar-wai fan, and it was definitely like a ode to him, and I would love to see them do a movie together at some point, Michelle and him. Yeah, I mean, I like all the universes, and I would love to know, like, it's just crazy to think that, like, from an editing perspective, just like those shots where it's just like really quick, like how much time it took to just do that one shot that's only going to maybe be in the movie for like a second. Like, just, I love the dedication and the detail of it. Was there a favorite for you?
I liked the rocks for some reason. I don't know. I thought it was really powerful. Just the little, it was great symbolism of these little rocks moving towards each other, and the one rock sort of moving, like, I just thought, what a real different creative way to just put it on screen there. And I just said before that I really liked the show don't tell. As much as I'm someone that loves some good dialogue, sometimes the less dialogue, the better, and just being able to, it's nice as a viewer. And I think that's the whole thing with the movie is they don't speak down to us. They don't take us for granted. They allow you to feel. They allow you to interpret. They allow you to take your time to click into what is happening in it. And it must be with all those like little shots and taking in what you can from each different universe. So the rocks is definitely what stands out to me with that.
Yeah, I almost didn't even like think of that one just because it's not people that come to mind. I almost like forgot about it, which I can't believe I did, just because, like you said, it's a very quiet moment with just like the subtitles on screen, but it's actually a very powerful moment of the film, of the conversation between Evelyn and Joy, just kind of going back and forth. And it's kind of silly, but it's also very like universal, I feel like, with what they're kind of talking about there. I guess, Kelli, I'm curious, is there any other movies that you haven't seen yet that are now on your watch list because of doing this episode and diving into her?
I'm sort of like you. Like, I really want to see some more of the 90s. Like, the Theheroictrio really whet my appetite for that sort of era. Yes?
So there's a sequel, which I'm so... Yeah, there's a sequel. Thank you. I was like, I knew there was something I was really excited to tell you. There's a sequel to the Theheroictrio, which is called Executioners. I haven't seen it yet, but it's definitely on my list. One that's on my list for sure it's called Yes, Madam or Madame, and it's her first role where she is the lead. And I was going to watch it today, to be honest, but I got too busy and I ran out of time. All I know is she plays like this cop, and it's in the 80s, and she's like sporting kind of this like mullet bob hairstyle, and like the fashion is just so 80s, and like, yay! I'm really excited to watch that one. Cool. And then I don't know if I really want to watch it, but have you seen any of the Police Story movies?
Jackie Chan?
Yeah.
No, it's definitely on my radar because you don't want to just like be comparing and contrasting all the time, but definitely I was getting a lot of like, is she sort of like the female equivalent to a Jackie Chan, where like breaking into the international market and bring that Hong Kong cinema over to the US. So is she in them?
So she's in the third one, and I have another clip to show you.
Yes, please.
Because I've only seen this clip from the movie, and it's just incredible. So she did all of her own stunts and has talked to it since, of like, she's like, I don't even know how I did this, and like survived. And so I have to show you this one specific stunt that she does that's insane.
The audience has to remember that we don't work with blue screens, we don't work with green screens, we don't work with digital effects. All I know how to ride a bike is like how to go, how to speed, how to jump, and that's it. I don't know how to stop. I just learned when I got past point and there was nowhere else to go to jump off the bike, and that was what I did all the time. But I'm glad I did it, because now when I look at it, I'm like, whoa, yes. I remember that Jackie always used to go around saying that women should not do any action, period. Except for Michelle. He knows that I'm a very tough cookie. I am one of like the boys. I'm one of the gang, and I'm one of the stunned people.
I'm just like, that's insane.
Go off. Another word to add to Poison Grace, fearless. Fearless is how I would describe Michelle Yeoh. That was sick. Like, I could never, well, I just kind of, like, I wouldn't be able to drive a motorcycle, period. I almost can't believe that's real, because like she said, there's no green screens, there's no this, that, like, I don't like the sensation of falling, so she's just got to go for it and just go in. Yeah, that's crazy.
So she's only in Police Story 3, Super Cop. And so I guess in the comments below, let us know, do I need to watch the first two, or can I just watch this one? Because this is the only one I really want to watch. But I also am kind of a completist of like, okay, maybe I'll watch the first two to understand what's going on. But I'm just like, that's badass.
Badass. Project Badass. I just love that, as you sort of said, she's part of the conversation again, and what she's standing for women of age, standing of women of colour. I love it. I can't wait to see what Everything Everywhere All at Once has really opened up for her. I want to see what else gets offered to her, what other roles she takes. Like, it's just an interesting moment. One last thing, it's superficial, but I love when a woman knows she's going to win the best actress Oscar and chooses their dress, she looks beautiful. That dress is stunning. I love when people have the confidence to be like, I'm going to go on stage and win, and this is what I'm going to wear. I love it.
She has a lot of upcoming projects. She's in the next 3 Avatar movies.
Wow.
She's in the Star Trek universe of it all. I think she's like in the TV show as a captain. She's in the upcoming Wicked movie. So like, yeah, so she has a lot of
That's
like
right.
Yeah, she's Madame Morel Bowl or something. I think I'm saying that wrong. But yeah, so she has a lot of upcoming work that's really exciting. And this woman is 60 years old, or 61, I think now. Like, that's incredible to have this surge of a career, towards the end of your quote unquote prime. But again, I love the message that she keeps conveying of like, yeah, don't give up and it's never too late type of thing.
Never give up.
And I love how humble she is, just like off camera. But I feel like it comes through in a lot of her roles too, of just the poise and grace of it all. I'm obsessed with Michelle Yeoh. I'm excited to like get into her filmography even more. So if you have a favorite Michelle Yeoh movie, please let us know in the comments. And until next time, everyone, stay magical.